Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about someone who really ultimately played a huge role in the Catholic faith and who kind of can be someone that we look to for inspiration and really is comparable and relatable to our lives as Christians, and that's Doubting Thomas. And you're probably like, what the heck? Why am I comparing myself to some guy who doubted who Jesus was? And when we think about it real deep, I think we do that every day. I don't know if any of you have ever struggled with doubting your faith, but I know that I have, and I see it in a lot of people's lives doing what I do. Let's just look at Doubting Thomas real quick, okay? He was one of Jesus's closest friends. He was an evangelist. He went around spreading the faith alongside Jesus. He learned with Jesus. He saw the life of Christ. You know, think of your best friend, someone who has leadership abilities, someone who is spreading the faith, and someone who you trust and who you love and care about and spend time with. Keep that person in your head. That was Jesus for Doubting Thomas. That was Jesus for Thomas. And yet, when Christ was crucified, died, buried, and then rose from the dead and came back, he didn't believe. He didn't believe it. He said, in order for me to believe, I need to see. I need to touch your wounds. I need to see the nail marks in your hands. Because he didn't believe that it was real. Even though he walked alongside Christ through the entire thing. And so when I look at that, and then I think of us, I'm like, holy crap. This is going to be really hard for us as people who weren't physically in relationship with Christ before he died. We didn't have that relationship. We didn't get to learn from him. We didn't get to see the miracles take place. We didn't know that. All we have is faith. All we can do is believe what is written, believe what Christ teaches us. And then, so for us to doubt, I'm like, if a friend of Jesus, if someone who saw everything that happened and went and preached it didn't even believe, it's got to be like so hard for us to believe because we weren't there. All we have is what is written. And that's when it comes down to faith and relationship. And I feel like when you don't build a relationship with God, look at Thomas. He had a fantastic friendship with Jesus. And I wasn't there, I don't know how great it was. But all I know is that he was a part of Jesus's life. Jesus was a part of his life. So for us to not physically have that, if we don't strive every day to have a relationship with Jesus, we are going to doubt so much that there is no way. That's not why so many people are turning away from the faith. Because we have lost what it means to have a relationship with God. We have put so many things in front of that. We have completely switched our mindset of what this life is supposed to be. Like, we were put here to live for Christ and to share his message with other people, and we don't do that. We live for ourselves now. We live in a generation where people say, you, do what's best for you, do what's best for the people around you, do what makes you happy. But that's not what we're called to do. Jesus never said it was going to be easy. Jesus never said we were going to be happy all the time. Look at his life. Living for the faith is not an easy thing to do, and it's not fun all the time. It's not. And we all are going to have periods of doubt. We are. Even Jesus, before he died, sat there and said, please don't do this. Please just don't make me go through this, to his Father. And then on the cross said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Even Jesus had those hard times. Crying tears of blood, persecuted by the Christians. And that's what's going to happen to us when we truly live out the faith. So all I can think that I can get from this and gain from Doubting Thomas is that if someone who knew Christ firsthand in relationship with him had doubt, we are certainly going to have doubt. But the only way to overcome that doubt and not just turn away from it all, like so many people do now, is to work daily and strive for a real relationship with Christ. And there are so many things that can get in the way of that. Social media, friendships that may not be the best for us. Surrounding ourselves with things that we know are going to bring us down. It takes growing in prayer every single day. And let me tell you right now, my prayer life has been so stale recently. There are days that go by where I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to pray altogether. So it's a work in progress and it's hard. It is so hard. So what we have to do is really look at our lives and see what are these things that are bringing us away from God and keeping us from full relationship with Him. And for me, let me tell you right now, big time waster, Snapchat. 2 days ago, I deleted Snapchat because I think that I spend the most time in the world on Snapchat above like all other things. And I deleted Snapchat 2 nights ago. So yesterday was really the first day I didn't have Snapchat. And I was barely on my phone. Barely on my phone. And at the end of the day, I was like, I feel like I barely even talk to people. And I think that's because that's how we communicate. We just send a face back and forth and waste our time. And real people you're going to communicate with calling, texting, spending time with in person. And it's the same thing with Jesus. We got to put that time in. We can't just like send a picture of Jesus, we have to work for it, It's not something that comes as easy as a quick little 1-second thing to continue your communication with somebody. But it's making an effort to call or send a nice text or ask to hang out in person, and I've been missing that. And I waste so much time on Snapchat. I had to get rid of it. And let me tell you right now, I already see how much time is freed in my day that I can be really putting into other things that are bettering myself. Like I went for a 4-mile run. And did I run the whole thing? No. But I had time to think and I had time to have good conversation with the person I went running with. And, like prayer, implementing prayer into my day and really putting it into my schedule, not just on a checklist. Because I feel like with checklists, you can just do what you want, check off what you want when you want to, and there's no certain time for each thing, so it can kind of just get pushed to the bottom of the checklist. I feel like God's one of those things that just gets pushed down because He's not here. He's not a tangible person that we can sit down and have a conversation with and have our prayers answered right away. And we as people hate that. We are so impatient, and I feel like social media plays a big role in that. Because with social media, with the internet, we get immediate answers. We know everything that's going on. We can look up like, oh, how do I solve this problem? Instead of turning to God and being like, God, what do you want me to do to solve this problem? Like, you see what I mean? And I'm looking at my own life. I don't know what your life looks like personally, whoever you are watching this video. I don't know, you may have the best relationship with God. You may not even have social media, and good for you. Seriously, that's a hard thing in this generation to do. But for me, having social media and being able to make time for my faith is really a struggle. And it's something that I need to work on. And I think that is what has caused me to doubt and be a little bit of a doubting Thomas in my life, because it's hard to live something out and truly believe what you're living out when you have no relationship with the person that is saying to believe these things, to live this way. Why would we listen to something that we have no idea who they are? We only listen to people who we trust, who we admire, and ultimately that should be God. And I think we miss that. But I think it's possible, and I think it just takes altering a few little things in our day-to-day lives, and we can all do that, and we can all do that together. So, yeah. I just felt like that needed to be said in a video. I had the opportunity to really connect with everyone I spoke with this past week about Doubting Thomas and everything on this topic. So I felt like it is a useful thing to put on my YouTube as well. So with that being said, I'm praying for you guys and I love you. God bless.